Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. So I'll hand over to our moderator, Dr. Arlina. Okay, Dr.
Thank you
Arlina.
so much. Thank you so much, Datuk. Assalamualaikum and good morning. Yang berbahagia Datuk Sharifah Muhammad Ismail, President of the Institute of Marketing Malaysia, IMM. Distinguished members of the IMM Council, our esteemed speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Siti Zaleha Sahak, fellow marketing professionals, colleagues, and participants joining us from across Malaysia and abroad. A very warm welcome to all of you for attending today's IMM webinar titled Navigating Brand Choices, Understanding the Roles of Consumer Xenocentrism. This webinar is organized by IMM and supported by UPM School of Business and Economics, Ayub Graduate Business School, UiTM, and UKM Graduate School of Business. My name is Dr. Alina Abdul Rashid, and I'm honored to serve as your moderator for today's session. On behalf of the Institute of Marketing Malaysia, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for taking the time to be with us. So today's session promises to be both insightful and thought-provoking as we explore how in-group and out-group dynamics shape consumers' brand preferences and buying decisions, a timely topic in our increasingly globalized marketplace. So before we begin, allow me to share a few housekeeping notes. This webinar is being recorded, and the recording and slides will be made available to IMM members upon request. To avoid background noise, all participants will remain muted during the presentation. You are welcome to submit questions or comments at any time through the chat box. Our team will compile them for the Q&A session. Okay, and if Dr. Siti opens the floor for live questions, you may unmute yourself, introduce your name and organization, and ask your question directly. Okay, so before we begin, we would like to take a group photo with everyone. So may I kindly request all participants to turn on your cameras for a moment so we can capture today's session. Okay. So, Encik Syafiz, are you ready?
Okey, boleh. Tunggu dia buka dulu eh.
Okay.
Okey. 1, 2, 3. Sekejap eh. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, cukup.
Thank you, Mr. Syafiz. Thank you, everyone. All right. So it is my pleasure to introduce today's distinguished speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Siti Zaleha Sahak, a certified professional marketer, CPM Asia, and also a faculty member at the Arshad Ayub Graduate Business School, Universiti Teknologi Shah, Malaysia. Okay, so Dr. Siti specializes in consumer behavior, market segmentation, and also brand management. With over 20 years of teaching experience, she has been deeply involved in research and consultancy work, focusing on how consumer psychology influences marketing outcomes. She obtained her PhD in marketing from the University of Salford, United Kingdom. And today, Dr. Siti will deliver a presentation titled Navigating Brand Choices, Understanding the Roles of Consumer Xenocentrism. So, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Associate Professor Dr. Siti Zaleha Sahak. Dr. Siti, the virtual floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Arlina. Assalamualaikum and good morning to Dr. Sharifah, the IMM President, Prof. Dr. Nozana, the Dean of AAGBS, and all participants. So I'm feel glad to be on today's session to have all of you and we are going to discuss the topic that is relevant to each of us, not just the businesses, but we as the consumers. Now, before I start, I just would like to get some idea. Please, may I know where you are from? I mean, from which country? I would appreciate if you can write your response, yeah, in our chat box, just to give me some idea. The country where you are from. Thank you. Okay, I can see that. Aaron, Malaysia. We have from Bangladesh, yeah, participant from Bangladesh. Thank you. Right, Army, Selangor, Malaysia. Is this? Yes, Faiz. Any other responses? From which country you are from? Okay. Right, all right. Okay. So based on the list here that given to me, there are also participants here from outside Malaysia. All right, thank you very much from the to all the participants. So first of all, let me share the slide and how or why I'm asking you that question first, because again, what we're going to discuss here is about the effects of country of origin. So I'm now sharing the slide. Can you see my slide, the PDF form? Dr. Arlina, is it on?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. All right, okay. Share. All right, I'm sharing.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, now,
Yes.
now it's okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is the topic of our webinar today, and I'm Dr. Siti from Ayub Graduate Business School, and also as what Dr. Alina have mentioned just now. Yeah, I one of the CPM holders lah. Yeah, and this is the content of our discussions. We try to make it informal in the sense that we're going to have more interaction, yeah, with the among us. So this topic is about, as I mentioned, it's a part of the bigger study in country of origin effect, whereby when we as consumer we make decision, including what brand that we going to choose or to select, and that's also having the implication on how do we evaluate that brand, including where it comes from. And for instance, we do have our participants here from Bangladesh, for instance, or even us here from Malaysia, most of us. Do we choose Malaysia-made product or other products, other brands that coming from foreign countries? So in the marketing perspective, this is where we refer to the so-called as two different constructs. One is consumer xenocentrism, and another one is ethnocentrism. The focus of this webinar is on consumer xenocentrism, and that's about preference for foreign goods over local ones or over our local brands. Based on the previous study or existing study in this area, it was found that consumers from developing nation or developing countries or emerging markets, this consumer xenocentrism tendency are more prevalent as compared to Western countries. Because you will see that how we are, or based on the study, it shows that we are more attracted to brands or products that coming from countries who are advanced, yeah, in terms of their economics level, whether their technological advancement and so on. So it doesn't mean that consumer xenocentrism does not exist in or among consumers from developed countries. They are, but then the effect would be minimal and they are often unnoticed. So I will sharing with you here the definitions, or well, to be more straightforward, it's about defining consumer xenocentrism. And in understanding this, what is the concept of consumer xenocentrism as well as ethnocentrism, it's best to look at it as continuum, meaning to say we do have one side as individuals prefer the out-group, and another side are those that prefer in-group. Prefer what? Yeah, from the perspective of sociology, it's about xenocentrism is about how we take other groups, not our own group, to be the center of our reference. Meaning to say we are scaled and rated everything that we view based on the out-group perspective. However, ethnocentrism is about how we take our own group as the point of reference. So this xenocentrism and ethnocentrism, again, as it been introduced in sociological studies, then from the marketing perspective, this is where it was established or introduced the concept of consumer xenocentrism and consumer ethnocentrism. So we can take the perspective of out-group and in-group in this case to our preference, whether to our local products, local brand, and or to the out-group that is the foreign brands. So xenocentrism is referring to the tendency of consumers to prefer foreign goods, foreign brands over local brand, even when domestic or local brand, local products are of equal or superior quality. Whereby ethnocentrism, that is those that preferring or taking in group as the point of reference, this is where preference for local products is referred to. And those who are ethnocentric, they would see that purchasing the foreign products is something which is considered as unnationalistic and could also negatively impact our local economics. So based on the previous study, we can summarize here some profile of xenocentric consumers. In other words, we want to know, yeah, who are xenocentric consumers. And this matter because as what we can see at the introduction, whereby these xenocentric consumers, they are actually representing attractive market segment, especially for the local firm that willing to adopt foreign branding strategies. We're going to look this further, yeah, in the implication, yeah, and also the sections on the recommended strategies. So at the top of this diagram, or in this diagram, you can see I have listed here the references academically, and at the end, you will also have a list of references whereby you can go more detail to get more detail of these studies. So these are the findings based on this, what have been stated here. I mean, the list of the studies, the previous study. Xenocentric consumers are usually those that having or coming from or those that have high income, yeah, high income. They are from high income group consumers. This is what have been again established by the previous studies. In terms of age group, most of xenocentric consumers are from consumers who are young, yeah, young consumers group, whereby the social status, these are the people that well, because of the purchase, could also reflect the lifestyle. So this is relates to the social status of consumers. So purchasing foreign brand, especially a well-known brand, could, you know, reflecting or projecting the social status of consumer, and that's the reason why you can see here that social status is one of the profile or background of xenocentric consumers. And in terms of gender, this is not to generalize, but based on the study, it shows that men are more xenocentric rather than female or women. And the research also shows that consumer informal colonial countries tend to be more xenocentric in the sense that they have a positive image of the country that colonized, our country. For instance, we know the history of most of ASEAN countries have been colonized before, and how people see the colonial country in terms of, again, the product that coming from this country having a more prestige, having higher image or identity, and so on. So this is what have been found in the study, showing that, again, consumer, well, it also relates to developing countries, that having preference for the products that coming from foreign countries. At the same time, research also show that xenocentric consumers, also the group of consumers who are having disagreement with national government. What does it mean here is that they go for oppositional purchasing, that is to purchase foreign brand instead of local brands, to show their what we call disagreement again with the whatever policy made by the government, and so on. So it's a way that they show to others that this is how they migrate to other countries in a form of buying decision. All right, so this is what it means by disagreement with national government. In other words, to not really to support local brands. And last but not least, those who are having cultural openness, most of the time are xenocentric. Yeah, they have more what we call open to the other people, other culture, and so on. And this also influence the way that they choose and evaluate brands which are available in the marketplace, meaning to say they are not just looking at what is coming from the local, the local brands, but rather to look at overall the other brands that are available. And the preference based on this study would be on the local, on the foreign products or foreign brands. Then now I would like to move these to go for the market implication of xenocentrism and what are the recommended strategies to the businesses, whether it is local or international company. The market implication of xenocentrism, you can see here, at least we can divide it into three implications in terms of the globalizations, the effect of globalization itself that actually amplified consumer xenocentrism. You can see more and more products are available in almost all marketplace. And also not to forget the growth of digital brand, meaning to say the e-commerce platform of businesses. So consumers have more choices. They have to, they can choose, they can evaluate any brand available before they make any purchase. And these targeted marketing approaches is whereby we can see how just now we look at the profile of xenocentric consumers and how does it impact our market segmentation strategies. And also in terms of the overall, the consumer behavior trends, in which observing trends in consumer behavior would provide insights into the growing phenomenon of xenocentrism. So all in all, what makes xenocentrism, a study on xenocentrism, the key findings, the background or profile of xenocentric are important to marketeer is in terms of how should we go about in attracting our target market to buy or to choose our brand. So in this case, I would prefer to take the in-group perspective, whereby if we look at domestic products or local products and brands, most of these local brands, they are struggling to get attention from the target market. because of one of the reason is this tendency of consumer xenocentrism. So what can they do to get or to get consumer to choose local products? Now, based on this, our discussion here, one of the strategies that have been mentioned here or can be proposed to our local market is to make the product looks foreign. So how to make that product looks foreign? That is in terms of, there are a number of ways. This include through product design, the merchandising, labeling, logo, symbol, or even advertising in order to target xenocentric consumers. So we know that xenocentric consumers, their preference is to foreign brands. So the challenge here is to the local brand on how to attract these xenocentric consumers. So what am I highlighting or sharing it here is again based on the strategies. One of the ways or the strategies that local producer can do is to make the brand looks foreign. So that this foreigners, brands foreigners positioning is not just for the purpose of capturing the target market in local market, but it can also be used by a company that are coming from developing countries, but they want to market the product at the international market. So in this way, their foreigners, the brand foreigners positioning could also benefit them because when the product is available at other developing countries, that consumer group in another developing countries may see this product as foreign. It's not coming from a country with the similar status of economics and so on. So that's basically how the implications of xenocentrism, and the key recommendation here is very much on how to make the brand looks as a foreign brand. And also, most of the time, we have seen just now that xenocentric consumers mostly coming from those of high income level. So in this case, it will be the advantage for the local brand to targeting the xenocentric consumers, because you can also set the price at premium level, because most of this group of consumers are coming, meaning that they have that higher purchasing power. So, well, I'm taking here one of the example. We can see this is Starbucks and this is Zeus Coffee. So if you look carefully, there are some similarities of this logo of these two brands. And at one point, at the very beginning or the introductions of Zeus Coffee to Malaysia market, some consumers are actually having a question of whether, is this Malaysia? Is it a Malaysia brand or somewhere else or something else? So that kind of things that trigger consumer to know more about the brand. And yes, it is Malaysia brand. So this is just one of the example. Of course, there are many other examples where we have seen just now how to make the product, the brand, to look foreign. So one of the way is through the logo, the symbol of the brand itself. So again, you may also look at as a example. So well, as a summary, let me just re-highlight what we have discussed in a very short time. We talk about the out-group as well as in-group sentiments. And to conclude it, is xenocentrism is referring to the out-group preferences. Is again, we are taking other groups, not our own group, as the center for our reference, whereby in-group is the opposite construct of xenocentrism, whereby our preference is to the local brands instead of foreign brands. So all in all, this actually involve or incur, or it is part of the process of a consumer buying decision, in particular on brand choices. What brand do we choose before we buy? Yeah, and implication in terms of market segmentation is really there because the segmentation of xenocentric is something which is actually attractive to most businesses. Therefore, understanding who are xenocentric consumers in terms of their profile and background could give some insight to the local brand in particular. And also, last but not least, as I mentioned before, one of the strategies that can be used here is how local brand could make their brands to look foreign. So by that, the xenocentric consumer may have some what we call we give more attention to that brand while they are making choices of brand prior to purchase. So I think that's all from me, Dr. Arlina. We may go for Q&A session. So as I mentioned to you just now, to all participants, here are the references of related relevance to our context of study. So you may want to refer to these references for your, if you are interested to know more about this particular topic. So Dr. Arlina, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Siti, for that highly engaging and insightful presentation. We will now open the floor for questions. Participants, you may raise your hand and unmute yourself to ask directly, or you can also type your questions in the chat box. Any questions?
Hi, Assalamualaikum.
Salam, Dr.
Dr. Siti, if I can ask, not a question, but it is more on getting your opinion into this lah, with regards to the xenocentrism. Do you think the trends of boycotting that is happening now could also be used by the businesses, mainly for the marketers, to like re-strategize their brands so that they can like compete and take, not to say take advantage, but leveraging on what is happening at the moment? What do you think?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Zarina, for the question. Boycotting is another issue or topic, but of course they are interrelated to what we discussed here. So my point of view in terms of this is whereby we go back to the fundamental of xenocentrism, and ethnocentrism is the out-group and in-group. So whereby in this case, the boycotting issue, for instance, of course, there are the drive of that, the motive of that boycotting. So we consumers can see that, or even the company can look at the conceptualization of out-group and in-group to a bigger perspective. Meaning to say, at the beginning or initially, the out-group and in-group is referring to the country of origin, where the products coming from. But then if we look at a boycotting movement, for instance, this is where consumers all around the world can form one big in-group, although they are coming of different nationality, different citizenship, different religions, different ethnic whatsoever. So this is where the in-group becoming bigger. Well, at the same time, if you look at the other way around, the out-group also could be bigger, because when we talk about boycotting, there will be some consumers that support the boycotting movement or action, and there are also some consumers that, well, they are not interested to be part of the boycotting action. So to the company in this case, whether we talk about local or international company, of course, they have to have their stand in terms of this brand is, what is the target market? So for the local brand, for instance, local brands, they may, as what you said just now, it's not to take advantage of the boycotting issue, but could be the platform for them to form the strong in-group towards the brand. And forming the strong in-group preferences here should be solely not just based on boycotting issue, because as we know, boycotting sometimes it could be sort of like seasonal. So what happened if there is no longer boycotting action? What happened to that particular brand? So what I'm saying here is that the opportunity is there for the company, the brand, whether foreign or local brands, to look at out-group and in-group in a bigger perspective. And at the same time, they have to develop very well their brand positioning, because brand positioning is something that is more concrete instead of the boycotting, which, as I said, could be on seasonal basis. So, Dr. Rin, I hope that I'm answering your question.
Yes, yes. That is a
Alright.
great answer. Thank you, Dr. Siti.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Dr. Siti, we have one question from the audience in the
All
chat box. Yeah, Mr. Aaron is asking, how could we take a balance when a local brand working toward the xenocentrism customers while keeping the ethnocentrism customers? When we applying the strategies to look like a foreign brand, our ethnocentrism customers might leave.
Thank you very much, Aaron, for the question. Interesting question. Yes, to answer this again, it go back to who are actually the target market of the brand. Yeah, because every product has its own price tag lah. Yeah, we call it price setting. What again going back to brand positioning and so on. So your question on how do company actually or brand owner actually going to balance between xenocentric group of consumers and ethnocentric group of consumers. So my response here again, it goes back to what is or who is actually your target market. You may want to target both, but what you could do here is that for xenocentric consumers, you really have to work on, or we have to work on what could make the products look foreign. Yeah. However, for ethnocentric, it's very much about nationalistic value. So what we could do to sell our or to promote our brand as a brand which is belong to the in-group. So you may come up with quite a different strategies should you want to tackle both. Yeah. Of course, when we talk about any business operating in domestic market, their target could be on xenocentric as well as ethnocentric. So your question is about how to balance between these two. My response is, first, have a look at who are actually your main target market. Should you going to target both, then how are you going to customize your marketing communication activities, your price setting, and many others here, including the product design and so on, to really appeal attractive to both market or either one market. Aaron, am I answering your question, Aaron? Or perhaps, Aaron, you have some other suggestion that we could also have some other input. Please, Aaron, if you do have some. Or others may also want to add to this, what I have responded. Because we also have to remember, this is like continuum. So there are a group of consumers who are in between. So they could respond to foreign brand. They could also choose local brand, depending on situation, for instance. So for a company, of course, that's a good opportunity for them to really get more and more customers. But the question is, how are you going to go about? Yeah, that goes back to the strategies.
Dr. Siti, we have another question from the audience. Ms. Norel Zaihan, you may unmute yourself.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. Dr. Siti, Associate Prof. Dr. Siti, right? I just have a question. Normally, when we talk about xenocentrism, it's about superior quality, value, and so on. So now I can see the market offering. Look at the F&B segment, right? For example, you're giving example like Zeus and everything. So now we have like Aicha, Mixu, all the brand from China. Even the car is from China, which is we associate that China is very low quality and everything, but now consumer is changing to that direction. Is it still, we call it xenocentrism as well, or some other terms or something? Because
Thank you for the question. From the perspective of marketing, yes, it goes to xenocentrism because xenocentrism is referring to our preference to the foreign brands. So the keyword here is where the brands coming from. You get it? Yeah?
okay,
So
clear.
ethnocentrism is our own in-group, our in-group brand. That is our local brand. So we do have participants from Bangladesh, for instance. So from Bangladesh, what are the brands that is from Bangladesh? So if your preference to that because of your nationality, then it goes to ethnocentrism. And xenocentrism is anything which is non-local. Okay.
Regardless the quality, and as everything. Okay, clear.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Siti.
Okay, any other question? Dr. Siti, can I ask one question, if you don't mind?
Okay, sure.
What's your opinion about the younger generation? Because you know, the younger generation often says that they don't care about brands. So do you think that this generation is truly less xenocentric, or are their brand choices still influenced by global or foreign appeal? So what's your say about that?
Right. Thank you, Dr. Arina, for the question. I think in that case, let's have a look again to the findings of the existing study. If based on the existing studies, most of xenocentric consumers who are taking foreign brand as their the outgroup as the reference, as a point of reference, they are young, young consumers. In Vietnam, for instance, there was a study on this young consumer that age between 20 to 30. The preference is very clear on the foreign brand instead of local brand. So whether they are xenocentric or ethnocentric, then again it goes back to the could also be their purchase is varied according to product categories as well as situational. Situational means that whenever you need this brand, then you buy it. Then in other situation, you may choose other brands. But then again, based on the finding of the study, we have different group of consumers, could be over generation, for instance, or across generation, but young one among those that are xenocentric, meaning to say they have what we call stronger preference for international brand or foreign brands. That could also be reflecting by, for instance, we talk about FOMO culture, fear of missing out. So it also goes back to the lifestyle, the social media, whatsoever. Some people may buy the brand because of, well, it shows that you have, you are able to buy and so on. Okay, Dr. Arlina, yeah. But again, this is not to generalize. Perhaps different study would produce different results. But generally, here are the profile of xenocentric consumers, and most of these are consumers from developing countries.
Thank you, Dr. Siti. Any other questions from the audience? We still have time. Okay. We have one more question at the Siti from Pat Zilahi. How could nationalism on products cater for both groups?
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. I think this question also relate to what one of the participants asked, yeah, those that national products that also going to, say it again, Dr. Ayla.
How could nationalism on products cater for both groups?
Oh, okay. Nationalism to cater both groups of xenocentric and ethnocentric.
Yeah.
Okay. This one, to me, it goes back to very much on the marketing communications strategies, in particular the promotion. We can see that although it quite, also I can say sort of like seasonal, yeah, this strategy appear in particular if you look at our country, Malaysia, during Malaysia Day, during our independent month, yeah, so it's between August and September. You can see that how even international brand using nationalism or nationalistic, not nationalism, nationalistic theme or nationalistic motive, yeah, or the approach to get those from local consumers, the local market to buy these international brands. So they sort of like make their presence is clearer in that particular marketplace, and how they also value, appreciate, acknowledge the nationalistic value of this group of consumers. So I can see here that, or perhaps Dr. Arina also, yeah, aware of during our independent month, yeah, and also Hari Malaysia and so on, you will see that a number of, if I can say here, the brands like Nestle, yeah, what else? A number of insurance company, how they use this nationalistic value to appear more, what you call, perhaps convincing, yeah, to the local market. So to ethnocentrism, it may not be a big issue because they are with the in-group. So the nationalistic value is really something that make their preference for local brand stronger, because the in-group is where they are coming from. So again, I hope I'm answering the question. So it goes back to the marketing communications strategies. It can. The answer is yes, it can. It can appeal. I mean, you can use a nationalistic theme or nationalistic approach to tackle both so-called as group of consumer who are xenocentric and those also who are ethno and xenocentric. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Siti.
And,
Okay, there's another question, yeah, from Amira. May I know, does brand ambassador also contribute to brand choices from both group?
Okay. Brand ambassador, does it contribute to brand choices to both xenocentric and ethnocentric groups? Well, I think to answer this, it's not going to be like one standard answer for everything, yeah. So you really have to look at the product category, one thing, and also everything will goes back to who are your target market, yeah. So that goes to your market segmentation. And not only that, but it's also referred to the competing brands, yeah, in that particular product category. So in some cases, a brand ambassador may place or, you know, having a big role in order to promote the brand, whereby in some other cases, it may still have some influence, but may not be the key drive to the brand preferences or brand choices. So we have to really look at case by case in this, I mean, regarding this strategy of using brand ambassador. All right.
Another question.
And Dr.
Dr.
Alina, sorry, before that, also just to add to my response just now, brand ambassador also, you have to look it from the context of who is or who are the brand ambassadors. These brand ambassadors are someone who are international figure, you know, the foreign personality, or it's someone who are our local people. So it goes back to, again, who are your target market? So should it be ethnocentric, then to me, it not really makes sense to have someone as a foreign, the foreign ambassador as your brand ambassador. Okay, Dr. Alina.
All right. There's another one. So Zeus is actively promoting collaborations with local artists or brands, and they also promote merchandises with local looks, for example, batik motif. Are they still targeting to xenocentric consumers? So what's your take on this? So this question is from Mr. Azizul.
All right. Okay. Thank you for the question. Azizo, do you mind if I asked what is your point of view in terms of this? Because Zeus is our local brand, and we are aware of the what we call the strategies that they used, whether they are actually targeting these xeno or ethnocentric consumers by having this kind of national or customized merchandise and so on of Malaysian. Azizo? Maybe Azizo want to share your own point of view in terms of this issue?
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm at the gym at the moment.
Okay.
So kind of noisy. I think we are actually targeting both. By having Zeus, probably they want to, the name itself, they're actually targeting to. But seasonally, they have something with local flavors, which they want to also target the local, I don't know, maybe. But I'm not, now I'm confused. Who are actually targeting it?
All right. Thank you for your response on this. The question and also your point of view about this one. So if you look at the overall marketing strategies of Zeus in terms of pricing, for instance, well, they do have that price tag which is more or less with their competitors, more or less at the same level of competitors. But their approach in terms of, as what you have mentioned, the example of the merchandise that they use, how do they embedded the national what you call batik and so on in their product and so on is very much to promoting this consumer ethnocentrism. But at the same time, not to forget, xenocentric could also be their target consumer, because as we see at the first place, even their logo, their symbol is something that, having some, I would say, similarities with the international market. So what we can see here is that to a brand out there, it's not necessarily just to be, narrow down the target market to, okay, I would like just to focus on, we just want to focus on those xenocentric rather than ethnocentric, or the other way around, whereby in the marketplace, of course, there are huge potential of tapping these both markets. But it goes back to the company must have a very clear brand positioning. That is the first one. And also I mentioned before, the key target market, who are these people? And what are their profile? Because we can also see, although I've not put this in our slide, ethnocentrism, most of the time or generally, their profile of consumer of ethnocentric rather than xenocentric are opposite of this one. So this is where it requires different strategies to tackle, should the company want to tap on both market. Azizul? Okay, yeah, Azizul? So that's my point of view in terms of this.
Any
Alright,
other
Alina?
question? Yeah, another question? Oh, okay. I think we can have one last
One
question
more,
here.
yeah, one last
Yeah.
maybe.
From Zaleha. So if you may, can you share with us why Koreans have such strong preference on their local brands over the foreign brands?
Okay, all right. Thank you for the question. You mentioned about Korean consumers, and you will find that the same findings among Japanese consumers. They do have high ethnocentric towards their local brand. Yeah. So of course, based on the previous study, there are many what you call factors that leads to this high level of ethnocentric. One of it is, of course, the patriotism. Yeah, patriotism towards our country lah, yeah, where you are from. Okay, towards the country. So patriotism is one of the antecedents to ethnocentrism. Not xeno, ethnocentrism. And other than that, they would also have a high level of nationalism. Yeah, tadi patriotism, this is nationalism. And we can also see in terms of their product quality. So that is how we judge our product quality. So my point of view here is that local brand have full of opportunities to capture the local market, because again, if we talk about patriotism and so on, there will be a group of people of different patriotism level. But then if local brands could improve their product quality, for instance, product image and so on, I would say that local brand could do better. Yeah. So that is my take lah on this part. So if you are interested on ethnocentrism study, part of my references, if I'm not mistaken, there are some reference for ethnocentrism. Please, you can look into that to get a clearer idea of what make people ethnocentric in this country like Korea, Japan, among of those marketplace that having high ethnocentrism. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much, Dr. Siti.
So I start share, yeah?
Thank you, everyone, for your thoughtful questions and participation. So before we conclude, allow me to briefly summarize the key takeaways from Dr. Siti's presentation. Consumer xenocentrism describes the tendency of consumers to prefer foreign products over domestic ones, yeah, even though local products are similar or better quality. Yeah. So this behavior is more prevalent in developing countries where foreign goods are often associated with prestige, status, or better quality perceptions. So Dr. Siti also highlighted several profiles of xenocentric consumers, including individuals with high cultural openness, youth segments, those with higher income or social status, and also consumers from former colonies. So from a marketing perspective, firms can respond by adapting foreign-looking branding strategies, targeted marketing approaches, and cross-cultural positioning to appeal to these segments while strengthening local brand equity. So ultimately, understanding in-group or ethnocentric and out-group xenocentric dynamics helps marketers navigate complex brand choices and consumer identities in global markets. So we come to the end of this session. So on behalf of the Institute of Marketing Malaysia, we would like to express our sincere appreciation to Associate Professor Dr. Zaleha Sahak for sharing her valuable insights with us today. Thank you to all participants for joining and engaging in this session. But before we officially end, I have a short announcement. So for IMM members, the recording and slides will be made available to members upon request. For non-members who would like to access the recording and enjoy other member privileges, you are warmly encouraged to join IMM. So the membership registration link is available in the chat box. So please check it out and be part of our professional marketing community. And I would also like to take this opportunity to invite you to join our upcoming webinar. Okay, so the title of the webinar is Taming AI for Business Success, Unleashing Practical AI in Your Business. Automate, innovate, and elevate. Okay, so the speaker would be Mr. Bilal Katsrada. So he's an award-winning app developer and founder of IT Varsity South Africa. So this webinar will take place on the 22nd of October, which is a Wednesday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Okay, so again, thank you everyone, okay, for participating in this webinar. So we hope you found it meaningful and applicable for your professional practice. Okay, so have a great day ahead, and thank you once again for being with us. Okay, bye everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Siti. Thank you, Dr. Arlina. Now, there's one question in the chat. What is the fee for student membership? It's only RM50 per year. But student membership, no voting rights, but you can enjoy other benefits. Yes, please come on board. Thank you. So thank you once again to AAGBS and the team. And of course to Prof. Norzana, if she is still around, otherwise just convey my thanks to her. So thank you to all the participants. Yeah. So look forward to see all of you again at our next webinar. Inshallah.
Thank you, Dato'. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.